committee, end of April. Let's see, which way do I go? I forget every time. So it doesn't work. How do you use that?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
They don't give me that.
Oh, no.
Someone's garage door open across the street.
Our alarm.
That's okay. If you, I'll just be, okay.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. So a little background, the NRP was created to help promote community improvement and development within our city, within a certain district. The review committee is made up by a member from the City of Ottawa Commission, the USD 290, and then the Franklin County Commission as well. They have recommended the approval of 11 residential structures. So those residential structures, oh, did I miss? Yep, there we go. So residential structures, I'll go through them really quickly for you. We have 830 West 5th Street. We have 133 South Cedar Street, 710 South Pecan, 714 South Pecan. That was a lot split, so that did add an extra residential house. We have 112 South Elm Street. And then we have quite a few remodels this time. We have 810 South Poplar, 534 South Elm, 1132 South Willow Street, 316 South Oak, 527 North Hickory, and 524 North Cherry. So financial considerations, this will be just the city's portion of that rebate. It's an approximate amount. For years 1 through 5, that approximate amount is a little over $5,524. And then for years 6 through 10, that would be a little over $4,041. The reason for that is the years 1 through 10 is going to be for the new residentials. The estimated total over the 10 years is going to be a little over $47,829. So I'm asking today for your approval of those 11 residential houses to be added into the program, or we can deliberate at a different time.
Do we have any questions for Ashley?
I actually just have a question for Commissioner Kaler. You're part of the Neighborhood Revitalization Committee, and your papers are on here between you and Rod Harris and Harold Wingard. Have you guys ever denied an application?
I mean, the committee changes every single year, so I mean, it can change different partners, but I've been on it for several years. I don't recall that.
Okay.
However, I don't want to say a definitive yes or no, but no, I don't recall.
I think the only one that I can remember was just right outside, like 9th Street. It was just right outside the boundary, but other than that.
I think did we not make some changes there?
Later on, I
yes,
believe.
I think we did say that it could be approved.
Right, okay.
Yes.
I just didn't know if there was any reason before that you had noticed of a denial, but it sounds to me like maybe not.
Oh, one, do you?
I don't recall one either. And a lot of times the ones that are outside the boundary don't make it to the committee. Because we let them know that they're outside, and there's some, I don't get very many that are outside.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate the fact that if someone comes in and they're within the boundary, you tell them about the program, if they're not familiar with it. So I think that's great that you're doing that for the people in the boundary. And really, we're all benefiting from this. I know it'll take years for some of these to get on fully on the tax rolls, but we've got some, I didn't realize 1997 it started. So we've already got a lot of those from then. They're on the tax rolls. So that's a great deal.
I would say that there are ones that certainly that you and I and several people on the table have approved that have already started.
They should have, yeah. I think so.
This year I sent over 43 to be added to that program. So I just did that yesterday to the county to have them certified to start getting the rebate next year.
Any idea how many of those maybe have fallen off? I wonder how many
Janet's gonna get that
Yeah.
for me. I asked her
Great.
for that because she'll certify these new ones and then the ones that are dropping off. She'll get me those. It's hard for us to see the difference in numbers because obviously they have others outside that they, yeah, so, but she's gonna let me know. She'll give me an updated list and I could get that to somebody to get over to you guys.
I know I love seeing the homeowner occupied ones pop up on here.
Mhm.
Cause I think that's great too. People who are able to stay in their current home and do some work. Just kind of for if anyone's listening who may have a projects coming up, what's the threshold? What does someone need to increase their value? Kind of what does that look like? If say someone's planning to finish a basement or do some remodeling, at what point would they qualify to potentially get in the program?
25%. So they would have to increase their current assessed valuation by 25%.
So for a lot of people, if you do a basement, even a large kitchen, you know, there's build a garage, there's a lot of things that would bump you into that and they're potentially missing out on funds and your contractor maybe doesn't know about it, doesn't tell you or something.
Yes, and I have personally made phone calls to applicants that I see, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
But the 25% is just for the residential side, right?
Correct.
So
Correct, I
if there were,
apologize.
if there were commercial folks out there also, I don't want them to think that it's 20%, because it's actually 20, I believe, right?
No, there's a lower one too.
So there's a 10 to
10
19.
to 19 to meet a certain year wise.
Okay.
Rebate, and then the 20% gets you the maximum year rebate, and it staggers down, steps down, I guess is the correct terminology for commercial, instead of stays at that one rate.
Any other questions?
It's a great program. I know that we've already know we have a shortage of housing. The numbers amazed me when we got that report from Paul Bean. But I say we approve item 11A on our agenda.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? May I have roll call vote, please?
How do you vote, Commissioner Scrivener?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Crowley?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Clayton?
Yes.
And Mayor Allen?
And I vote yes, motion carries.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for the
Thank you.
information. We will move on to item 11B.
Street light boring 13th to 15th Main Street.
This would review the approval of conduit boring and pole box installation to support future streetlight upgrades on Main Street, and Director Sneeden will present on this.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. So some of you might find this about boring.
Uh,
I didn't
Yeah,
know you'd find it.
but I find it about a great infrastructure opportunity.
Yeah.
Could be
Wasn't
shocking.
even prepared. Did you
It
notice
is.
that?
It could be.
Wasn't even
Yes.
prepared.
You know, I had to throw a curveball at it. Yeah.
Way to go.
So our recommendation is to approve contract with Wright Tree Service to perform conduit boring and pole box installation at the total cost of $31,200. This project consists of both sides of Main Street, street lighting from 13th to 15th on Main Street. A little bit of background, we're targeting this section of Main because the underground wiring is quite essentially failing, causing unreliable lighting and increased maintenance issues. Anytime there's a moisture event in town, it seems that we trip and we have to go out and reset multiple times. Every single time we get numerous phone calls saying that the lights are out. From a strategic standpoint, this project supports several of our key pillars, which is infrastructure and stewardship of resources, public safety and education perspective, and quality of life and community engagement. With that being said, the community engagement is enhancing the street lighting and makes the area more walkable and usable outside of business hours. It shows the community that we're investing in visible improvements that make everyday life better for residents, visitors, and businesses alike. This project addresses repeated failures in the underground wiring between 13th and 15th of Main. The current system isn't reliable and can't support future lighting upgrades. So if we were ever to go in and replace the poles, which is a future project of ours, this is ahead of that. So regardless of what pole feature we go with, the underground infrastructure, the wiring, the conduit has to be in place anyway. We'll be boring about 3,000 feet of new conduit and installing 12 pole boxes, all without tearing up sidewalk or streets. That minimizes disruption and saves on restoration costs. We're using Wright Tree Service as a sole source provider due to their experience, their availability, and the equipment needed to get this done efficiently. And they're local. They can be here anytime we call them, essentially. This is a critical foundational upgrade that improves reliability now and prepares the corridor for future enhancements, fully aligned with our current CIP goals. This aerial map highlights the project area for the streetlight conduit boring and pole box installation. One thing I want to note is the red dashed lines show both sides being bored. It is the assumption of our electric distribution superintendent and Wright Tree Service that they will go down one side and then bore across. Due to the east side of this particular section is full of other utilities. We've got fiber, we've got gas, water. So to minimize disruption in other utilities that we currently have, we're gonna go and then bore across each pole box.
Does that change at all how we would utilize it in the future?
No.
Nope.
Nope, the pole box will be there and it'll all come into that one box.
And does the hospital pull from this direction, or they pull from Cedar for their electricity?
It's on the back, Cedar in it.
Cedar?
Cedar and also, 11th or 13th Street.
Okay.
They got 3, 4, 5, 6, I think they got 6 feet. So,
Yeah. Wow, okay.
So with that being said, financial considerations, this is a budgeted project funded through the electric fund. Specifically the 3704, 634, which are street lighting fund. There's enough in this fund to actually do 6 blocks this year. We're going to do these 2 blocks first and then analyze our fund balance here in a few months. And we really want to get 11th through 13th done as well this year. And maybe hold off on the 9th through 15th or 9th through 11th for next year, or maybe late this year. And again, this is just the boring. It's not new street lights. It's not under that realm. This contract complies with procurement policy and has no legal issues, and it's a total cost of, again, $31,200 from the electric distribution fund.
I didn't realize Wright Service did this, that boring, has it been doing this for several years?
Actually, it's Mitchell Construction sold their company to Wright Tree Service, and those folks are now employed by Wright Tree Service.
Director Sneathan, on this, down below, it's got the 30,000 for the boring service, the 1,200 pole boxes. Will city crews be coming back to pull wire back through this? Will that be done by city crews to kind of get a final?
the duct has wire already in it that they're boring in.
Okay,
And then we'll have to connect from the pole boxes to the existing street lights
okay,
for them to use that wire, but that's just a
Minimal, yeah.
Well, I like to say minimal, but you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah. And
okay.
then the pole boxes will be ready for any new construction that we do later.
Thank you.
You don't expect any lane closures? Most of this will be in the right of ways?
Yep, correct. So it will be in the right of way.
They cut down a few trees while they're out there, or is that?
There's not many there, 13, 15.
Well, there's a couple, that Charlie Anderson brought.
Couple
up.
elms, yeah.
We'll get those later.
Any other questions?
If this gets approved, it goes, and there's not many houses really right along there. There are a few though, between Walgreens and, if yards are tore up, if there's issues, we had you know, someone recently boring through town, what's the best way for someone? Do they reach out to Wright and say, hey, people tore up my yard? How would they go about that?
They'll reach out to us. Yeah, City of Ottawa will facilitate that. Yep,
Thank
for
you.
sure. Yeah.
Madam Mayor, I'll make, I'll
Okay.
make the motion to approve item 11B as listed on the agenda.
Do we have a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay, any further discussion? May I have roll call vote, please?
Do you vote, Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Crowley?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Clayton?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
And Mayor Allen?
And I vote yes, motion carries. Thank you for the
Thank
boring
you.
presentation.
Thank you. Well, here's another one. There's.
Okay, you're next. We'll move on to item 11C.
15th to 17th Street Water Line Project Approval.
This would be the approval to replace deteriorated water main ahead of 15th Street traffic signal project, which improves fire protection and service reliability. And we have Director Sneathen back.
All right, this item addresses a critical water infrastructure replacement between 15th and 17th along Main Street on the east side of Main Street due to severe internal deterioration of the water main. We recommend proceeding with the contract for the water line replacement at a total cost of $104,483.06. This project is essential for restoring water flow and fire protection. The purpose for this coming before you now is that this project was moved up in the CIP. It replaces a water line project out on 19th Street. This moved ahead of that project due to the deterioration of the inside of this pipe that was discovered last year. Water flow has decreased, which in turn reduces fire flow capabilities on that side of the street. There is a redundant line on the other side of the road, but for this type of intersection and the businesses that we have along that, we need both sides fully functional. So a little bit of background, this section of line is badly corroded inside, essentially down to a 2-inch diameter, which puts nearby businesses at risk, particularly during fire flow. We'll be boring a new line to avoid tearing up Main Street. It also positions us well ahead of the traffic signal upgrade that was approved earlier. So we aren't cutting into fresh pavement. We are going to set up boring near the gas station and bore north. And we're gonna finish that portion first so we can superchlorinate it, get everybody back online on that side of the road, including Sonic, and before we proceed with boring south. So there'll be two different setups. One of those is it's easier to do that way with the way the road and stuff is set up because this project is going to be basically out in the curb and gutter area due to the many utilities that are on that side of the road with gas, electric, and fiber that is currently there. This water line replacement project directly supports multiple pillars of our city strategic outline, of which is infrastructure and stewardship of resources, economic development and job creation, public safety and education, quality of life, and community engagement. As you see here, the aerial is a map of South Main Street in Ottawa, Kansas, highlighting the planned water line replacement area between East 15th and East 17th. The blue dash line along the east side of Main Street marks a corridor where the new water line will be installed. This segment is located just south of Main Street intersection, continuing down to 17th Street intersection. The plan is to set up down here near the gas station, open cut this, bore to the north, and go across 15th Street. So all of the 15th Street work will be taken care of and completed well before the traffic signal project comes in. So there'll be no digging up any new concrete. All that will be taken care of. All the new water line will be uncovered for that traffic signal project. So there'll be no interference with that project whatsoever. A timeline of this project, as you know, the project notification, there will be multiple notifications going out in social media and direct communication with the businesses along this intersection or along this section of road. There will be lane closures, multiple lane closures, just one lane at a time. We will be open at all times. Every single drive will be open at all times during this project, but we will have it down to one lane just for safety concerns. I think they stated that there were gonna be like 60 signs out and placed. So a lot of prep work has gone on to it. They've already marked the area for locating services, and I think staff went out today and marked for their sign placement. Traffic control, it's a huge issue, especially on this main road in town. So we don't take that lightly, and there will be a lot of orange cones and signage and everything in place. Utility excavation, we're gonna hydro excavate all current utilities, so all the electric that's there, there's fiber, and gas that is currently there, and the existing water line. So we don't disrupt any other service while we're doing a project. And then the boring will take place. It's estimated about a 3-week boring process. Right Tree Service is really good at what they do. There is a little bit of fluff in this timeline due to weather, so. Chlorination, what happens after that new water line is put in, they'll chlorinate, make sure any kind of impurities in that water line is out, and then they will start transferring over services in weeks 4 and 5. And then sidewalk and street repairs as needed. I don't anticipate a whole lot other than the potholes that they're gonna have out in the street where they reconnect those service lines. Again, the financial considerations, the total project cost is $104,483 and some change, from the water fund, the capital improvement fund of $744. Funding is secured from the water fund and aligns with the strategic priorities for public safety and infrastructure modernization. No budget amendment is needed for this project. And again, this is a project that got moved up on the CIP list due to its deterioration. And we recommend approval and authorization for the city manager to move forward. If needed, the commission can defer to a future meeting. And with that, I stand for questions.
You had mentioned the line was restricted to 2 inches roughly. What is it supposed to be?
6. And it's going to be up to an 8-inch.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Okay.
The line on the west side of the street, is it the same age? Is it starting to show?
No, it is a PVC line.
Okay.
Yep, it's already a PVC line, which this new one will be as well.
Yeah, my concern would be fire suppression, which you doing here, so we have fire hydrants there. I mean, is that a concern for you as well? If they only got 2-inch line on this side, were you able to tap in the other side? How would that work if we had a fire at the Sonic or somewhere in that direction?
So with the line that's on the west side, we would use it, so more than likely, we're gonna have to shut down Main Street if we have to do anything across the street. And with 2-inch, roughly 2 inches of the old line, that we're not gonna get enough water, like cause some damage.
When we do our annual flushing of our fire hydrants, we get calls along this strip saying that they've lost a lot of water pressure and wondering when we're going to be done. This would essentially eliminate those calls. The current fire hydrant is across the street, located at Blanco's bar. So you can see
Yeah.
that they would have to shut the entire
Yeah.
Main Street section down in order to fight any kind of fire in that area. As noted in the expense request, we've got, it's not just the boring that we're approving today. The boring of this project is $54,000. That's just one portion of it. The rest of it is materials from core and main, and then asphalt repair and flowable fill. As you know, this is gonna be a City of Ottawa staff contracted project other than the boring. Our guys are gonna go in, they're gonna make all the connections with the fittings, the service line. All that is going to be done in-house, saving a large amount of money.
And I appreciate you mentioning that's gonna be 8 inch too, because I'm not a hydraulic engineer, but my rough calculations, 2 inches about 50 gallons a minute, 8 inches 1,600 gallons a minute. And so I don't know exact flow rates, but
In case you're wondering.
as you had mentioned, you know,
It's calculating right here.
Yeah.
yeah, I saw you doing the math. I wanted to beat you.
You did.
But I think that's just amazing too, as you'd mentioned, you know, with these businesses noticing when we're flushing hydrant or, you know, the water hydrants and stuff like that, what that really has as an impact. And just how this ties into kind of that whole south corridor as well. There's a lot of stuff over there that probably is impacted from this flow, I would assume. Yes.
Director Sneeden, the only thing I wish that you guys would have gave us is if somehow you could have figured out what it could have cost an independent company to do all this. And if we didn't bore, what it would cost, because I think people would be surprised, like $104,000 to do two blocks of 8 inch pipe is.
I reached out to our engineering firm and they estimated it $280,000 project.
I was thinking it was 3 times that. I mean, and if it wasn't being bored, the sheer disruption that you would have by shutting down businesses, entryways, and I mean, having a lot more, you know, work going on in those right of ways. I mean, the $104,000 is it's surprising to see that number, because at first when I saw it, I was like, I think something's missing here. You know, as a guy that sends out bids, I mean, you look at it and you say, hey, this seems low, what's missing? And I mean, it's significantly less than what I was anticipating it being. So that's great. It's really great. I'm glad you guys got together, and it's certainly great to see a, you know, local contractor being used too. Not just because they are local, but I think they get, there's that connection, you know, to the city that they have, that, you know, they're gonna care about those businesses that they utilize day in and day out, and the people that pass by them and things like that. Now, they may get less work done from all the, you know, waves as people drive by and things like that, but I think it'll be a great project. If there's no other, I'd like to make the motion that we approve item 11C.
Do we have a second?
One second.
Any further discussion?
Just one more question. Are we gonna remove the old pipe, or that will just stay in the ground?
It will stay. Yep.
May I have roll call vote, please?
How do you vote, Commissioner Carmen?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Clayton?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
And Mayor Allen?
And I vote yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to our comments by our city manager.
Not too forced.
Happy hour across the community.
Well, Mayor and Commissioners, thank you for your time this afternoon, and for also kind of highlighting the value that having worthy and well-qualified employees bring in the savings that is generated from their skill set and ability to do a lot of that work themselves. Just a couple of quick highlights. The first being our most past city band concert series is underway. It started on the 27th, and then our next one will be July 3rd, and it's at the OMA. So, you know, we want to encourage everyone to attend these family-friendly events and help us celebrate the spirit of our community that is Ottawa with these wonderful concerts. Some operational highlights: we are redeveloping our website for not only development and hosting. So we are beginning that evaluation process. We had hoped to originally present this bid to you today. However, we received 6 proposals, and we were expecting kind of maybe 2 to 3, mainly the big ones. So we'll be reviewing those and presenting this to you at our next commission meeting. And then I want to highlight the work that our crews have done this past week in the 1400 block Willow Street, and to point out that while work is underway, we'll have it down to 1 lane, and we appreciate our our neighbors and community members' patients, with some improvements underway. And then wastewater collection, again, they upgraded our water meters and installed the new Neptune radio meters, and that was 102 meters that were installed over this past week. So that's remarkable progress. And they want to point out the continued work on the southwest side of town from 1st to 7th that applied over 12.5 tons of asphalt to our streets, and then installed and removed our Memorial Day flags for the Memorial Day holiday in observance of those who have been killed in service to our country. We have some upcoming tentative agenda items. We'll have a review of the operating budget, river crossing update, which is our electric connection that ties in the north side of town with the south side of town right here on Main. And we'll also present that authorization for the city's new website design that will bring everything under one house and improve that functionality with the search function. And then we'll have a special operating budget session for utility funds for water and wastewater. And with that, that concludes my report. If there are any questions of myself or another member of the team. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to comments by the governing body. We will start with Commissioner Crowley.
I have no comment.
Commissioner Taylor,
None at this time.
Commissioner Skidmore, Mayor Pro Tem Clayton.
None at this time.
I have no comment either. We will move on to announcements. I'll just say this, I'm not sure if it's up there or not, but we had a June 2nd meeting that has been canceled. June 4th, City Commission meeting at 7 p.m. at City Hall. June 9th, a special call meeting, 4 p.m. at City Hall. June 11th, City Commission meeting at 4 p.m. And June 18th, City Commission meeting at 10 a.m., both at City Hall. We are needing to have an executive session. Would anybody like to make that motion?
What'd you say, 30 minutes?
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
went to 4:40 to 5:10.
I'll make the motion. I move that the commission recess into executive session at 4:40 for a period of 30 minutes with the city attorney present for the purpose of non-elected personnel. The justification for the closed session is to engage in confidential and privileged communication with the board's attorney by KSA 75-4319B1. The open meeting is to resume in this room at 5:10.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We will recess.